Rosengarten. Welcome to Cheese 101.
Do you like cheese?
Not really.
You don't like cheese? How come you don't like cheese?
I just don't know why.
Dude, you got cheese on your pizza.
I thought that not really.
Cheese on the internet. Do you like cheese? No. Are you a cheese lover by any chance?
If I'm serving a dry white wine, I go with ones that are really kind of crisp and lean and have good acid to cut through the fattiness of the cheese. This is a Sauvignon Blanc from Australia that is actually very, very crisp and very good. This is a Riesling from Alsace that's very crisp and very good. But now we're getting to my real love with cheese, and this is the wine that you can depend on more often to go with cheese. It's white wine that has a little bit of sweetness to it. Yes, it's true. Just prepare your guess. We're going to have a wine that's a little sweet, but I'm telling you, it goes with almost everything. I have here a Gewürztraminer that was actually made on Long Island. This is one of the best Gewürzes in the world. I love this with cheese. This is a wine from Germany, from the Pfalz. That's an Spätlese, so that means it's a little bit on the sweet side. It's beautiful with cheese. Or you can go sweeter still. This is a Passito from Sicily. That means the grapes were dried into raisins before they were vinified. It's brown and it's sweet and it's beautiful with cheese. And of course, one of the best wines in the world with cheese is port. Either this kind of young, forceful port or an aged port like this 1985 Smith Woodhouse vintage port. Of course, these guys would be absolutely perfect with Stilton, which we have on this cheese platter, but many other cheeses as well. That's just about it, my friends. I think it's time for me to grab a corkscrew, and we've got some serious drinking to do.
Gorgeous. And if Philippe doesn't like this dish, we're going to throw him out.
Like egg in the hole. What does that mean exactly? Yeah. That's awesome. Without a doubt, one of the top 50 dishes in New York City.
In order to cook good food, you just need to use all of your 5 senses. Sight, touch, hearing, smell. Start to get some great taste.
How to sear mushrooms. Thyme, butter, shallot, mushrooms, salt, oil, pepper. First, clean your mushrooms with a towel, not by dunking them underwater. That washes all the flavor out of the mushrooms. Now slice them up. Put your pan on high heat. When it's hot, add the oil and then a small amount of the mushrooms. If you add a whole bunch at one time, all the water comes out of the mushrooms and they steam. They don't fry. This means they get soggy and pale instead of crisp and golden. Once the mushrooms show a little sear, add a little bit of the butter and then the shallot and the thyme. Once this is cooked for a minute or so, season with salt and pepper. Remember that salt always draws out moisture, so it's important to add it to your mushrooms at the end. Now take them out of the pan and get on to the next batch.
Hey girls, why do people swirl wine?
What I'm doing is swirling the wine. And I'm swirling the wine because I want to encourage all the aroma vapors to come together. I want to encourage all those flavor compounds to come together on top of the surface of the wine and collect right here in the middle of the bowl so that I can get as much as I can when I actually put my nose inside the glass to inhale deeply. Put my nose deep into the glass so that I can actually get enough aroma and enough of those vapors to come through my retronasal cavity and actually taste the wine prior to drinking it. That's why I'm swirling. If you notice, I don't have my pinky out. So you don't have to put your pinky out. And it's not a pretentious thing. You'll notice wine people that really love wine, they'll spend all day swirling their wine. And you get so used to it that you'll swirl your water. It's just something that you do. It's not pretentious. It's not snotty, unless you want it to be. But it's not. So be passionate about wine. Don't be pretentious. I hope you learned something today.
How to steam mussels. Mussels, white wine, salt, pepper, butter. First thing, you have to make sure that you've picked out all the dead mussels. If you have one that has a cracked shell or it's open and won't close itself, toss it. Also, don't be afraid to use your nose. If you pick one up and it stinks, lose it. If one feels half the way to the others, it's probably dead. This is also the time when you can pull the beards off the mussels. Some chefs say it's better to leave them on and remove them after they've been cooked. This keeps them more tender. If you're using fresh mussels though, it shouldn't make a noticeable difference. Turn your heat on and add a little butter. Add your live mussels and season. Now add your wine and cover. This should only take 2 to 3 minutes. Once a mussel opens up, pull it out of the pan to keep it from getting rubbery. Once they've all opened up, you can add more butter into the steaming liquid, pour it all over the mussels, and enjoy.
Hi, I'm Philippe Nolan, and this is Top 50 Dishes of New York City. We're here today at Prune with Gabrielle Hamilton, the chef, a chef's chef, and her specialty is sweetbreads. So let's go in and see what it's all about. Come on.
So these are the sweetbreads with bacon and capers, and let's see if Philippe likes it, and if he doesn't, there's something wrong with him.
Oh my gosh, this looks like it's gonna fit my Atkins diet, no problem. Okay, so Gabrielle, here we have this beautiful painting of a dish, sweetbreads. Why are they called sweetbreads?
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. Is that to make people feel more comfortable?
I think it might be
Right,
because
so people think they're going to get date nut bread or, you know,
Right.
fig and walnut bread, but it's actually the thymus gland. I think the thymus regulates sex.
it maybe regulates
Metabolism or something.
yeah,
But
but definitely not cholesterol.
No, and you know what? It actually disappears in a mature animal. So there are only veal sweetbreads or lamb
Right.
sweetbreads. There are not sheep or pig or cow.
Right. But it has to be a young animal.
That's right.
Here we go. It's like this. It's like biting into this beautiful ball of luscious silk.
Well, that texture is so much more palatable for starters or beginners, I think, than like brains. Because you know how that's silky but custardy, which can really freak people out. But this is meaty. I mean, I think we could serve it to children and call it chicken nuggets, and they would
believe it. This is like high-end chicken nuggets for cholesterol-loving adults. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And now I'm just going to keep eating it. That's okay. Sweetbreads, not just for breakfast anymore.
Beat off your winter blues with one of my favorite cocktails ever. Today, we're having sex on the beach.
You'll need 1.5 ounces of vodka, 1/2 ounce of peach schnapps, 2 ounces of cranberry juice, 2 ounces of orange juice, a highball glass, and some ice. Simply add your ice to the highball glass and build your drink straight into the glass. Garnish with an orange or cherry, and succulate.
Sweet and sultry. Almost as good as the real thing. And no sand in your crack.
This is just so good.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That tastes really good.
How to braise. Carrots, celery, onion, peppercorns, oil, salt, short ribs, red wine, thyme and bay leaf, veal stock. The first step in braising is actually searing it. Turn your heat on high, then season all sides of your meat. Browning the meat is where you get all of your flavor. The more brown, the more flavor. Now it also adds a flavor if you roast your mirepoix, the carrot, onion, and celery. This sweetens the vegetables, and the moisture also deglazes the bottom of the pot. That brown meat left a lot of flavor on the bottom of that pot, and you want to make sure you don't leave it there. Once your mirepoix started to color, hit it with the red wine. The vegetables also leave some flavor on the bottom of the pot, called fons, and the wine will pull this off the pot and into the braise. At this point, you can add ribs back into the pot. Add just enough stock to cover the meat 1/3 to halfway up the short ribs. They shouldn't be covered all the way. Add the bay leaf, the thyme, and peppercorns. Once the braise starts to come up, start skimming all the weird looking stuff off the top. Once it's at a nice simmer, cover and throw it in a 325-degree oven. After 3 to 5 hours, there's a wide window of possibilities here, they should be done. The meat should be totally fork tender, easily falling apart. Make sure not to overcook though. It's easier to dry out a piece of meat by cooking it in liquid than you'd think. If you let it braise too long, all the moisture will get pulled out of the rib and into the braising liquid. Start checking your braise every 30 minutes after the first 3 hours have gone by, and you'll end up with a perfect, tender, juicy braise.
This is Vernon. He's my new puppy. We do lots of stuff together. Watch movies, not best in show again, play games. Now you know that is not how you spell neuter. Lots of stuff. When it comes to dinner time though, we usually go to our separate spots. Not anymore. I'm making recipes that you and your pet can share together. This is Pet Chef. So today we're going to be making some peanut butter cookies, or biscuits. So the first thing we're going to have is 2½ cups of wheat flour. You can use rice flour. You can also use white flour, but since you're cooking for your buddy, you want to try to go with organic ingredients, no sugar added, no salt added, you know, only the best. So we're going to do 3/4 cup of milk, and again, organic is always the best when you're cooking for your little four-legged friends. 3/4 cup. We're going to do 2 whole eggs. Just like that, 1 and 2. And we're gonna do a couple of tablespoons of butter, and I use about 1.5 tablespoons. Put that right in. And then now for what makes it really good is we're going to use 1 full cup of peanut butter. And again, the organic, no sugar added is usually the best. Do just a couple of heaping tablespoonfuls. I'll say that that was 1. Do 1 more, and then now the fun part, we're going to take the spoon out, kind of put our hands right in there, get right in that, and just mush it up together. So I've got my ingredients all mixed together. I have my greased cookie sheet, and my oven is preheated to 350 degrees. It's going to take little bite-sized balls, roll them up into a little ball, drop it right on the cookie sheet, and just keep going. So we're just going to take the cookie sheet, pop it into our preheated oven, pop it right in there on the bottom rack, and they should be ready in about 20 minutes. They smell like they're ready. I think Mr. Vernon over there has been letting me know that he is ready for a cookie. Put them right down here. This is a little hot, Mr. Vernon, so be careful. That's a good cookie. That is a good cookie. There you go. Mmm.